Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the Mage and how to play Mage in Call of Dragon. I'm going to review all the heroes that are potentially useful for the Mage across the different seasons, whether you are free to play, low spender, or you are welling into the game. But first of all, the first thing that I wanted to say that is if you are looking to play Mage, I think it's very important that your faction is the League of Order. And the reason for that is that the flying unit of the League of Order are considered to be Mage. So if you want to play Mage, you are going to train Mage through the Abbey, but you're also going to train Mage through the flying unit, which is going to be going twice as fast as if you are playing another faction. That's the first reason. The second reason is if you go here and then you go on information, you will see that the magic unit for the Celestial, it has a basic damage of 332, while the Mage here has a basic damage of 292, and all the rest is the same. So basically the Celestial are just a better Mage than the Vestal. So those ones are just dealing flat out more damage than this. If you are comparing the passive things, the passive skill that they have, this is going to provide some HP boost, and the second one, this one, is providing some attack boost. So clearly to me, Celestial is just a flat out better unit, especially that here we are talking about base damage, which are going to be improved by everything that you have that are boosting the percentage of your troop. So having Celestial for playing Mage is a major advantage versus not having them. So if you are free to play, or if you are considering playing Mage as your main trope type, then definitely the League of Order is the go-to faction for that. The second reason for recommending the League of Order is if you do so, the character that you are going, the hero that you are going to get more shard of is Waldyr. Waldyr is a mage hero, is probably one of the best initial hero that you can start with compared to the two others. So having Waldyr as the main hero is my recommendation if you also want to start playing with Mage. Now moving on to the different synergy that you are going to get in the first season. So the first things that you can do, in my opinion, is Waldyr and Alwyn. So this is a very free to play friendly pair. It's not amazing in terms of synergy, but they are both decent hero that can go together, and for the season 1 you can use them. Now if you want to get this a little bit better and Mage is your first focus and you're still free to play, I do recommend that you are playing Thundelyn as a second hero. And the reason that I'm recommending is a second hero is because the talent trees that are available for Waldyr are just better than Thundelyn. So as the talent tree is the things that matters only for the first hero and not for the second hero, I do recommend that you start with Waldyr and then you go with Thundelyn. The good thing with those two heroes is that they synergize very well one to another. They're both dealing frost damage, and when you are going to unlock the expertise on Thundelyn, you will get the benefit of dealing additional damage, which is significant every time that a target is frozen, which will be happening with Waldyr freezing target when it is casting his primary skill. You are going to get some defense from Waldyr, you get some movement speed from Thundelyn. They both do synergize very well. They are free to play. You can update Waldyr very quickly through the different quests that you get, and Thundelyn is obtainable through the gold key. And I do recommend that if you are free to play, or if you intend to play Mage, every time that you get legendary crystal, you invest them into Thundelyn. Be careful when you are building a hero. It's very important that you are not increasing the stars too quickly. So if I take this hero and then I start adding some crystal to her. The only area that the crystal are going to land is going to be on the first skill, and the first skill is the one that is dealing the most damage. So you want to be sure that you don't unlock the second skill before the first one is maxed, because this is what is actually going to carry when you are using the damage as a damage dealer. So you want to have just one star, max the first skill, then move to the second star, match the second skill, etc, etc. If you are looking at Thundelyn, which is here, the first skill is the one that is dealing damage, so you need that. The second one is going to provide you some nice march speed boost, and march speed is very underrated in open field, but it's extremely important because it allows you to reposition yourself easily, and you're not getting into an area where you are going to get focused. So march speed is very important. Skill damage bonus, we want that. And then this is exceptionally good as well. So the crit rate bonus is really good. I mean, even this one is also pretty decent. So all the skills of Thundelyn are really good, but already a 555 Thundelyn is pretty decent. So that's something that you can aim for. Looking at the different things that you have for this combo, so the first artifact that you are looking for, and the easiest one, is the time bomb, which is providing some magic attack damage and legion attack. That is what you are looking for, is the easiest one to get. The second one, which is a little bit harder to get, but is a bit better, is the Eyes of the Phoenix, the Phoenix Eye. Which is going to deal some damage to an area of effect, and is also providing some magic unique attack and legion attack. So that's what I recommend. For the pets, I would recommend that you are using the Sapphire Fire Drake, and the reason for that is that if you are increasing the quality of this pet, you potentially will get Intense Paybloom, which will boost the damage of the pet if you are doing some Scorch, Outfrost, or Ensnare, and Outfrost is something that both Waldyr and Thundelyn are dealing, so you may be able to get a lot of damage from the pet if you are doing those things. So that's my recommendation. The second pair is if you are not free to play and you decide to invest some money into the game, then the most powerful unit into the game season 1 is probably Liliya with Thundelyn. So this combo here is amazing in season 1, and I'm still using it, and it's still my main source of damage. So they are both amazing because they're both doing area of effect damage, and they are synergizing very well. You want to use Liliya for the same reason as I explained for the talent tree. I'm going to talk about the talent tree a little bit later on in this video, but this is my recommendation if you are spending into the game, and the higher you get the Liliya, and the stronger she will get. Like, I mean, this is obvious, but my recommendation is if you can, you want to expertise it. She is amazing, and she is by far one of the best heroes into the game still now, with more than 2 years that the game is existing. The reason that you synergize both of them, I explained, the Scorch are boosting the Fire Drake, the Sapphire Drake, and the critical from Thundelyn is going to also apply to Liliya, and in the skill tree of Liliya you're gonna have some critical chance. So you have a decent amount of critical chance, and you will deal massive damage in AoE. So this is really a very powerful combo. You can use them with the Vestal, and as I explained, if you are using the League of Order, you are capable of using them with the Celestial. Right now, you see that this is my #1 pre-register troop, and I'm using it with Celestial because they have a basic damage that is higher, they deal more damage. If you are looking into the artifacts, my recommendation is the same. You can start with this one. Then eventually, if you have the Phoenix Eyes, it's great. And if you are spending money and more money, you can aim for the Infernal Flame. That is going to boost the magic attack of your unit every time you inflict Scorch, which Liliya does, by the way, on the enemy. So you get this very nice 30% attack boost when it's at the max level, which is providing you really insane damage for this troop type. Moving on to the last option that you have, and I would recommend this only if you are whaling significantly, and the first thing that you want to have is to have two marches of Mage, and the first one is to pair Liliya with Alwyn. And the reason you want to pair that is because Alwyn is going to slow the target and deal damage based on the tick that Liliya is going to deal with the Scourge. So they synergize very well together. So that can be like a very good march for season 1. And then the second march that you want to do together is going to be Waldyr and Thundelyn, as I just explained before, and you are using both of them together. So you will have 2 march out. If you are looking at this and you are already in season 2 or season 3, potentially you have enough Mage to be able to use 2 march and to sustain those 2 marches through the battle. So that is also something that you can do later on if you have enough Mage. The problem is not that it's difficult. I mean, it's not harder to get Liliya, Alwyn and Waldyr, Thundelyn than to get the Liliya Thundelyn combo. The problem is that if you are launching 2 marches full of Mage and you don't have enough troop to support it, you are going to run out of troop in season 1 very quickly. So you need to have the correct amount of troop to be able to support 2 march in season 1 to their full power and to the length of the fight that you are going to face. Moving on to the talent tree, and I'm starting with Liliya, and I'm going to do Waldyr just after, but to my point of view, they are both similar. So you want to have the overall speed here instead of the defense. You don't really care about 1.2% of defense, but it's very important that you get some march speed bonus. Then you get here, and my recommendation is before to get those shiny damage, you want to get those 15% march speed. So you just go and you get those magic speed, which is going to help you tremendously into the battlefield to avoid being locked by other troops and get completely wiped. So mobility is very important. Then after you want to attack, you want to have the hero skill damage, because mostly the damage that are dealt by magic troop come from active skills. So you want to boost that, not as much as auto attack. Then you want to have rage generation, because rage is allowing you to cycle your cast quicker. You want to go for the boiling blood. This is a little bit better in my opinion than this one, because you already have a lot of rage generation. So that is just providing you a better burst of the second hero, especially if you are pairing it with Thundelyn. Thundelyn is doing significant amount of damage, so that is going to boost Thundelyn. If you are pairing it with Alwyn, I will consider Spirit of Rage, because Alwyn damage is lower, but for Thundelyn, Boiling Blood is really good. Then you want to go for the less attack damage but more hero skill damage. Another option that could be okay is the HP bypass. This is especially good on infantry troops, but on the rest is not as powerful as this one. So that's just a matter of what you want to focus. Then you definitely want to have the hero skill critical rate bonus, which is going to be add up to the one that Thundelyn is providing. And then you want to have the critical damage bonus. In here you have 2 options, the cage animal, which is going to be increasing the damage of the skill hero you deal and stacking within a fight, and the second one, which is just adding a flat out damage every time that you cast a spell. I do not like cage animal, because most of the time the battle, it goes one way or another. You get the left team that is pushing, and then you go backward and you don't shoot, and then you push and then they go backward and you don't shoot. So it's very rare that you actually can stand up somewhere and then cast multiple skills in a row to a target, making this not as strong in my opinion as the Thirst of Blood is in most of the situation. So my recommendation is more to go First of Blood. Then when you finish that, you will finish the regeneration, and then you get a little bit of skill damage shear. You do not need to go sheer and get this. I mean, it's possible, but I think it's not as strong as getting regeneration from that. Another option, I put it on Waldyr, but it's actually also okay on Liliya, is so you see here I did not put the regeneration. All the rest actually remain the same, but here I did not put the regeneration, but I finished the intimidation, dealing more skill damage bonus. And here I put magic maelstrom, which is reducing the target defense for 5 seconds every 30 seconds when I'm casting a rage skill, which is increasing the burst of damage. I had 1 point here into HP bypass, so that's another option that is completely viable. But you see, like, the hurt of what I explained to you just before is remaining, and you still have the same thing. The reason I like the skill tree is because for Mage is really the one that can provide you critical rate bonus, and it's so important early on, I think, into the game compared to the rest of the tree that are available. If I'm comparing to Thundelyn talent tree, the equivalent of the Thundelyn talent tree for skill is control, and control is really something that can be interesting if you are not playing Mage as a main troop. Like, for me, it's Archer that I'm playing in support, and I think it's interesting to have a support troop like this, potentially, because it's going to annoy the enemy, like with silencing it, or with reducing the damage, or reducing the speed, reducing the armor, increasing the damage you deal. And this is nice, but as a main troop focus on damage, I think it's not as powerful as the skill tree. So that's why my recommendation is not to start with Thundelyn as a main character. Moving on to Season 2, and Season 2 is where you are going to have available Bertrand and Tohar. So Bertrand and Tohar, they are not the greatest hero for Mage, and actually, I mean, because I play Mage, I'm okay with them, but I don't think they are that worth investing in. Tohar is decent for Guarrison, but you don't really want to Guarrison with Mage. And Bertrand is a flying unit, so it allows you to have flying attack with Tia, but actually I don't think the march is amazing. Like, there's no like super strong synergy between the two, so you don't have to invest in them. Actually, if you don't, I think it's completely okay. And for Season 2, I believe that there is other troops and other pair of heroes that are probably way more worth investing in than Bertrand and Tohar. And I'm especially thinking of the Goresh Scourge that is also arriving just before Bertrand and Tohar. And I believe they are way more important to invest than Bertrand and Tohar. So if you're interested about this, I'm going to release also a video on infantry later on, so you can have a look at it. But my recommendation for you is not to invest in Bertrand and Tohar. If you wish to invest in them, you have to understand that Tohar has a very specific skill that is actually needs to stay in place to be able to focus. And if you are not expertising Tohar, you are really missing out, because you are missing this 30%, 35% attack damage. So if you go on Tohar, you really need to expertise him, and this is very costly. So the only way I can see it being decent is through expertise. And for Bertrand, the expertise is okay, like you gain a little bit of damage when you are looking at the main skill, but the problem is that the skills, they're not that great. Like, this on paper looks really good, but you are never for a very long time casting without getting an attack from the enemy. So what will happen is that basically most of the time you're not going to benefit from this passive ability. So honestly, I think they are a little bit clunky right now, and they are not worth your crystal versus other things that will happen in season 2. If you wish to still invest in them, I do recommend that you are using the Shadow Phaedric, which is going to increase the damage to a legion if this skill is proccing, and then you want to use the follow-up for this skill, so you are casting this twice, and then the time that you are going to deal bonus damage to the target is going to be increased. So that is my recommendation. Regarding the artifact, you can use the Phoenix Eyes, or you can use potentially the Acid Breath. If you have unlocked the orb that I don't have unlocked through the forge, then that's also something that is increasing the damage, and it's completely doable to use it. Regarding the talent skill, you want to use Bertrand as the main one, so you can benefit from both the PvP and the talent through magic. And one of the very important one that you want to get is Iconoclasm. This is going to be quite good because you are going to get a lot of buff from this combo, because every time that you are casting the rage skill of Tohar, I mean the channeling of Tohar, you're gonna get buffed by Bertrand. So you're gonna get a lot of those buff effects. So this is actually pretty good. For the rest, what I did with this march is that I tried to do a tank killer, so I'm focusing on dealing damage to infantry bonus. I put the chance to inflict magic death break because usually tank they have a lot of defense, and here I have another one which is reducing the defense potentially for 5 seconds every 30 seconds. So this troop here is mostly to try to deal damage to the tank, so the tank they're not staying there for too long. I usually focus this troop in tanks, and because they are usually alone in the front line, I don't suffer too much on the fact that this is not doing AoE damage, and I still provide me some benefit. So that's how I'm using Bertrand Tohar in my army. For season 3, the combo that you have unlocked is the Thundelyn and Liliya combo, and I think it's a pretty strong combo. The reason I think it's a pretty strong combo is because first, Thundelyn is dealing some AoE damage, which is pretty nice because you need some AoE damage, and also all the skill that she has is providing you some bonus, so you don't have something that is like damage to peacekeeping or something like this. So everything on her is quite high value. And then the second thing is that it's providing some damage boost. So when you are using this Sky Fury, there is going to be a chance that it's reducing the march speed and also increasing the damage taken by 15% for 2 seconds. So as this is coming in season 3, you are going to have more than one march, and having increasing damage taken by 15% when you have all your troops that are focusing one target, this has a lot of value because it's going to boost the damage of the troops that are near this one. And it's the same for Liliya. You are going to increase the damage by 15% for 5 seconds on the march, which is also good because it's increasing the damage that this march is doing, and it synergizes very well with this. So you are going to get like massive boost of damage using this thing. What I like as well is that this combo is mitigating a lot of damage that you are taking. So you see that every time that you are doing skill damage, which you do a lot because this is proccing very often, you are going to get this thing, which is 50% of combined stat bonus, and I think this is very strong because you don't have a lot of heroes that are providing 50%. Here you have another one that is pretty good because you mitigate attack, meaning that you are going to take less counter attack damage, but also if the target that you are aiming is targeting you back, you are going to get less damage, less skill damage, so this is very good. And then when you are expertising this, then you get the shield factor, which is pretty decent. The only downside I see with Liliya is that there is this skill here that is for rallying, and she's not the greatest of rallying right now. I mean, I'm using her a little bit in a row when I'm facing an infantry defense, but she's not like the greatest either. So that is a little bit of the downside, but overall you have a very, very solid combo with the two, and I do recommend that you are investing into it if you are planning to play Mage. Regarding the artifact, the legendary artifact is really good. It's going to create an area of effect that is going to silence and prevent the enemy from leaving this area while dealing a dot damage when the enemy are within the area, which is pretty good because it's inflicting quite a lot of damage to an area of effect. And the second thing that is good is that it's also going to provide you resistances, reducing the damage that you take every time that you inflict numbness, which is what you inflict with the main skill of Thundelyn. So this is also reducing the damage that you take with this Legion, and it's reducing the amount of save wound that you are going to get, will allow you also to fight for a longer period of time. So I really like the Thundelyn and Liliya bonus, even if they don't do as much damage right now as my Liliya and Velen. They do provide quite a significant bonus to the rest of my team. With this, you want to use the Seraphic Phaedric that is providing you some healing, and you want to do that because every time that you are healed from this skill, you get 20% more shield and healing, so you want to get some healing. This is pretty nice actually. Regarding the talent tree that I'm recommending to use with Thundelyn, it's quite similar to what I'm using with my Bertrand. Actually, you want to have movement speed, and then after you want to go for Iconoclasm because you are going to debuff the enemy quite a lot, so you are going to pump up this damage very easily with this. I quite like the fact that I'm doing more damage on infantry, but that's not something that I put as a priority. Here I'm going to increase the shield that I'm generating because the second hero is going to grant me shield, so this is pretty nice. I'm going to add more shield here and then increase the damage that I'm doing. So that's the setup that I have. Here you have some hero damage, movement speed, health, and then reducing the defense. On this side I have a little bit of extra rage. I have some damage reduction, some speed, and here I get the slow that are reducing the march speed by 15%, so I can keep a target in place and I can deal more damage to this target. So this is what I like to do. As you see, I take a lot of things that are a little bit more defensive because I'm mitigating attack with this combo, and with the artifact I'm also reducing the damage I take. So this combo is more to survive a little bit longer, apply debuff while doing a lot of damage. So that's how I like to play it. The last tip that I'm going to give you is if you are using multiple marches that are mainly focused on Mage like I do, what you want is you want to have a march that is providing you some support that is from another type of unit. And the march that I'm using for that is the Kinara and Indis. And what I really like with this march is that I have invested in Kinara in season 1 because it's a very good hero for archer, but Indis is completely free to play. And what this march is doing is that it provides me some debuff because this is breaking defense, and this is increasing the damage that a target legion is taking for 2 seconds. So this, what it does is basically is going to increase all the damage that the rest of my unit are going to deal. So it's not relying on this to deal damage, but it's going to boost everything else damage. So that is the march that I'm using as a support. And what I did with Kinara is that I went from for the control tree in here, where you see I'm adding things such as reticent, which is going to silence potentially the enemy legion, preventing all the bad effect that you can get from those kind of things. I'm inflicting death break, I'm going to inflict the slow to the target, so all those kind of things that are annoying the enemy, so I can DPS it as much as possible. So this one is also good, that you can inflict gloom, which is reducing the attack, reducing the damage that you are going to take from counter attack. So all those things to me is just helping for my other troops to shine. So it's not a mage troop, but having something like this I think is helping. If you don't want to have Kinara that is completely maxed like this, you can do the same with Indis. Keeping in this, you actually just need this one that is providing the extra damage. I mean, this is just gathering, this is more survivability to your troop, and this is more survivability to this troop, but is not mandatory. And what you can do is you can use Nico as the first one instead of Kinara, because Nico is also providing death break when he's launching his skill. So you have the same kind of effect that you get with Kinara. It's just that this is only when you are launching a skill, and in terms of talent tree, you don't have the control talent tree, so you are going to get something that is just based on damage, while this is not really the purpose of this this thing. You prefer to have Kinara, but that's also something that is completely free to play, and then you can use to support your mages. Regarding my garrison, I am using Toha as the main one, and then Thundelyn as the second one. The reason I'm using Toha is because he has some talent that allow you to do Guarrison here, and I went full on Guarrison, so everything here is for Guarrison. And then Thundelyn, I really like her as a second hero when you are garrisoning, because this is doing some AO damage, so when they are trying to reinforce any rally onto you, they can get some damage from this skill. She's providing a lot of bonus HP with this and some healing factor, and when you have a garrison, this is a lot. She is providing you a lot of magic attack bonus through this, some shield, some healing, and more damage. So overall, I think she is a very complete support for garrison. The reason I'm garrisoning with mages and not with something else such as archer or infantry is because this is going to be taking the number of troop type that you have, and as I'm heavily building troop type that are magic unit, you see I have more than 2 million T5 mage and 1.3 million T5 flying unit which are also mage, so I have more than 3.4 million of mage, or 3.5 million of mage. So having something that is capitalizing on this is going to be better than having something that potentially as a garrison unit is better, but it's only playing with maybe like the swordsman, and I just have 1.2 million. On my tour to garrison, I am using the ARP, because this is adding defense to everything, even the infantry and the rest of my army. So I think it is quite nice as an artifact. And I'm using the Shadow Drake because it's also providing some damage bonus to the enemy that I target. So that is my setup for a garrison. I do recommend that you try not to be focused in KVK, because actually being garrisoned, being rallied can hurt you a lot if you are not sure and you're not above like a certain threshold in power. I can show you some reports of garrison because I've been rallied last season. I let myself being rallied because actually I was trading quite positive in death. So I saved a little bit of, so you see here I'm trading very, very positively in terms of death. And this is the kind of things that try to reinforce or are around the main rally. So I'm trading very, very positively. So you see there's a lot of death in here. If I'm comparing to another rally, you see I'm still trading very positively on death. The 7 don't really count. So that's another thing. You see again a lot of death from the enemy, just trying to reinforce. So here I get rallied by a Magret Zeta, which is a very strong rally, and you see it's very decent. Like the trade that I'm doing, it's still like multiply by 5 the number of death that they get versus me, so I'm completely okay with that. And still I'm dealing a lot of death through the AoE. And what I was doing is Tor and Thundelyn, and actually if I remember well, that was before my Thundelyn was completely expertise with 6 stars. If I go to, yeah, I just had 4 stars and it wasn't expertise. So actually you see now it was going to be better because it's trading better. So yeah, that's a little bit what I wanted to show you for Guarrison. This is all I had for you today. If this video interested you, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to make the similar kind of guide for Archer, infantry and cavalry, so you have an idea of how I see all of those things playing. And if you want to invest into a hero, I'll give you my opinion whether I think this hero is worth investing in or not. Thanks for watching, and I see you on the next video.